Hi there. Okay, if you didn't see the dog poem that I wrote and performed for you, here's the other poem I wrote and performed for you. It's from the same book that the dog poem came from. So if you haven't heard the dog poem, here's the book, Voices in My Head. It came out in January. It's one of two books that I brought out this year. I've got a third book coming out at the beginning of next year, which hopefully will be the year when COVID finishes. I hope you're all staying safe. What a dreadful time this has been. I'm sitting at home recording this for you. It would be much nicer if I could visit your school and work with you, but not at the moment, not at the moment. So, what I do is I work all over the world. I've worked in something like 50 different countries, as many as 10 countries a year, up until when COVID struck and I got loads of work cancelled. And I worked around schools all over Britain, I live in the north of England. I live in Bradford in Yorkshire. And down in the south of England is a place called Appledore in Devon. And it's a beautiful place, really beautiful, and I love it. And I work there every year doing a festival in schools, touring schools, and I get to stay in a pub that has bedrooms upstairs, and I sleep there, and they serve food, and breakfast and evening meal is almost always fish, and it's freshly caught fish, and it's wonderful. When you walk along the front in Appledore, there's a graveyard. It's been a fishing village for centuries, and in the graveyard are the graves of people who lived in Appledore and died, and many of them died at sea because fishing is a dangerous pursuit. And there are two graves right at the front of the graveyard of two teenagers who were on a fishing boat that sank, and they were friends and they both drowned, and they're buried next to each other, and the two stones have slowly slipped like that sideways, right, one towards the other, and they're actually touching. So these two friends who are buried long after they've died, their two tombstones have slipped sideways towards one another and are touching. And that's what made me write this poem. That's not mentioned in the poem, but it just moved me. And there were so many drowned sailors in the graveyard. I wrote this. St. Mary's Graveyard, Appledore. It's the graveyard of St. Mary's Church. Here's the poem. Lifted from the water, lain below the ground, long lie the many men, lured from land and drowned. Birdsong lulls my footfall. They hear neither sound. Flesh and cares have fled from dull bones, bared and browned. Silent strands, like sea weeds, wrap them round and round. Tides of time now trap them, near where waves still pound. These the seas that left them, lifeless, lost then found, borne ashore by mourners, stored where all abound. The graveyard. This one in Appledore. There you are. That's my poem. I write poems every single day. It's my job. If I was a plumber, I'd do plumbing every day. If I was an electrician, I do electrical work every day. I'm a poet. Every day I write poems. It's a good job.